I currently teach yoga to high schoolers, although I've taught to middle school and elementary school and super little kids. I teach yoga, I've taught French, I've taught English, I've taught history for 25 years. And what I've noticed over those years is that regardless of what I'm teaching, yoga for equestrians, for example, riding, I'm constantly bringing yoga into the classroom. I started teaching when I was 14. I worked for a riding stable, and my teacher rode in the Hungarian cavalry in World War II. So he didn't take no for an answer. And one day he just said, go out to the field and start teaching. So I went out to the field and I started teaching. I think I might have even used a Hungarian accent slightly. And in some ways, riding is very similar to yoga because so much of it is about balance and finding ease and peace, of course, with this giant animal. I played a lot of sports, soccer, gymnastics, track. I danced. And so, of course, I had a lot of injuries as a result of that. And when I was in college, after I quit all the sports, I took a yoga class and I just fell in love with it. And the teacher was probably about my age at this point, and she could do things that I couldn't do. And so I was slightly competitive. I thought, wow, there's got to be something to this. Mostly, though, I just realized how great I felt after class. And it was pretty much love at first sight. And after that, I've moved around a lot. I moved to Japan, and I taught English there, and I found a yoga class in Japanese, and I just imitated everybody. And then I moved to New York, and I taught there at a French school, and that was where I really began teaching yoga to kids, because that winter I coached a soccer team, a third grade soccer team, and it snowed and rained all winter. So we would be down in the basement, in the gym, and of course the little boys started wrestling and fighting, and I needed something to do, so I'd been studying at the Himalayan Institute in New York, and we just started doing yoga. More like Iyengar-ish style yoga, pose after pose, and I was actually shocked to see how much they loved it, and they started asking for it again and again. So that's sort of how it started. Then I went to graduate school at Stanford, and I was surprised, actually, as I was studying curriculum development and teacher education, that some of the professors there actually supported the whole idea of yoga in the classroom. And I ended up researching it and writing my final paper on that. And it was a really supportive time for me because I realized this really is my love and my dharma. And from there, I continued teaching at different schools and really just trusted, whether I was teaching academics or fitness, regardless, that there's a place for yoga in every class and that every child, every teenager really needs that. What I've noticed over the years is that kids start to realize that they need peace, they need ease, and they are stressed. It doesn't matter how old they are. And also that they can change the way they feel through the yoga, just through moving the body, moving the breath, moving their awareness. And it gives them a lot of power, a lot of personal power. And so that's what I found really to be the biggest plus, I guess. My advice to all teachers, parents, anyone who deals with children is bring yoga into it. Even just 2 minutes. And especially for classroom teachers, what a hectic job. So really it's for the teacher. And I use that so many times in my own classroom just to come back to myself and to come back to that place of center. In terms of the classroom, there's so many ways you can connect yoga practices to what's being learned, whether it's literacy, math, social studies, any discipline. Once again, connecting the body, the breath. And we know from Howard Gardner and the different types of intelligences that we all learn differently. Of course, most schools focus mostly on the math and the reading, the kinesthetic, the intrapersonal, the intrapersonal, the interpersonal, the naturalistic way of learning, the musical, bringing music into the classroom with the yoga. It touches on all those different modalities and allows each child to learn the way he does or she does. In my own life, I've noticed that my yoga practice is my biggest helper, my biggest guide, my biggest teacher. And really, in some ways, it's about busting myself, noticing when I'm not practicing, notice when I'm getting outside of myself, whether it's allowing my mind to drift off or feeling agitated in my body. What inspires me? Well, first, just the planet. I mean, when we really look around, look how beautiful it is. The earth, the sky, the sea, all the animals, of course, the people, my family, my friends, my town, my state, my country, my world. Life. Life inspires me. Teachers inspire me.